irritating. Okay, that's going. That one's just live, so YouTube's actually live, I guess. Should probably check to see if the audio is working. It is using a different encoder, but it was forcing me to start the Twitch stream first. See if it sounds decent. It was forcing me to start the Twitch stream. It has audio, that's good. Stream first. Cool. Alright, usually with stuff like this, I just work on stuff for a little bit. We'll see how it goes. Guess I could show my OBS setup. There's nothing too crazy about it. So I'm using the feature, the studio mode, where you can transition scenes. A bunch of scenes here, and then here's the multi-streaming setup. Yeah, not too bad. So far, except for that weird quirk, I can't start the YouTube stream before starting the Twitch for some reason. It's weird because, like I said, it's using a different encoder. I'm pushing HEVC instead of H.264 for Twitch, and then H.265 HEVC for YouTube. So I'm not really sure why it didn't allow me to start the YouTube one first. So the nice thing about YouTube is, the nice thing is that you can preview it before making it live. So anyways, I'll be working on something here. We'll see. Shrink that down. I think I need a third screen. All this. All right, this is a video for my main YouTube channel, or the larger one, Photography Bonsai. Went to a convention. This was back in 2024. The next one's coming up in November, so I wanted to edit this one. It's basically a mix of GoPro footage with photos that I took. And then I used various scripts that I wrote to help me place photos on the timeline, do other things with the video. I also recorded a voiceover. Whoops. I'll leave these over here, so I need to clip this, finish clipping it. Yeah. That's video editing. Takes a lot of time. So, see if it sounds decent. Oops, it was forcing me to check that's working. Well, that's a great frame. This I'll probably work on a little bit, and then also I was doing some programming stuff. I could show that off first. The general idea is to make a podcast editing application using AI tools to help me write it. I've done programming for a long time. I just don't want to spend the time to write something myself these days. It can definitely help, but it does make a bunch of junky code usually. But to do the podcast application, it was not working in Gemini Pro 2.5, which is the AI that I'm using. It has a really large context window in it, which is nice, but it just didn't have the capability of using the APIs I was trying to use. So the Whisper.net is a AI model thing that can read audio or just listen to audio and then turn it into text. And it was not doing it. So I had to write another application that basically takes those APIs and converts them into like a big informational document. And that's what this does. And this again was actually I was able to make this function in with Gemini Pro writing it instead of me writing it. So it's kind of like junky code, but it works. And then I gave the other chat all of that information for Whisper in audio, and then also Newsoft JSON, which is XML JSON, whatever API thing, or whatever they're called. And that worked. So that's the process of that. I don't know if I'm going to work on it right now, but it's still in the process of trying to make that podcast editing application. So now I'm just going to do this boring yet necessary step. Oops.
2024. This is in the Kalahari Resort in Wisconsin. They have a bunch of conventions. I've only been to this specific one. This actual convention area was used by DaishoCon for many years. I did go to DaishoCon back in 2016 or so, and maybe before that a few times, but it's been a while for me, so it's nice to
make sure my framing is. I'm going to block my screen a little bit with my face. All right. For that a few times.
But it's been a while for me, so it's nice to check it out again. I didn't actually attend the convention itself, so I don't have any idea of how that was. Maybe this year, we'll see. Yeah, I just went there impromptu on a whim. It was nice weather, which is really the main reason I go there or don't go there. If it's snowing, no thanks. But it was very nice weather considering it's November in northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin. Yeah, that's really the main reason I'll go or not go.
All right, this... even so...
Well, it was...
Anyways, this program is BorisFX Vegas Pro 21. They're pretty soon going to release version 23, and I'm contemplating if I'm going to buy it or not, because this specific I look cracked out. The specific version of the application has a serious bug in vertical video, so it's frustrating to use. I'd have to go back and use version 19 that I still have installed. So I'm considering version 23 when it comes out, but we'll see. Even so...
It was a pretty big mental challenge to motivate myself. Even so, it was a pretty big mental challenge.
I don't do scripts, so there's just a lot of errors, and I rephrase things, and yeah. It's probably all junk right there. With the camera equipment that I was using... Also, these markers on the top here, I have a script that turns those into timecode things with YouTube. Inside the description of YouTube videos, if you have 00, so if I put a marker here and just say opening or something, and then I can convert these into timecode plus text, and I can paste those into the YouTube description, and YouTube splits up the video based on section, which is nice. With the camera equipment that
I was using, the Nikon Z5 as usual, with the Nikon Z40mm f2 lens. It's a nice cost of using the Nikon Z5 as usual, with the Nikon Z40mm f2 lens. It's a nice cost.
Oh, that was kind of bad. 2 lens. I should have separated that. It's a nice... Unless I just redid it. I wouldn't say the Z5's... This time I was using a minimum shutter speed. Oh. Make sure that's on. I'm going to cover most of this with footage, so it doesn't matter how it's clipped up. The Nikon
Z5 as usual, with the Nikon Z40mm f2 lens. It's a nice cost-effective combination.
That was a decentish transition, even though it cut really weird. F2 lens.
It's a nice cost-effective combination, especially these days with how expensive camera equipment is getting. I wouldn't say the Z5 is perfect. Autofocus is not amazing, but as long as you take enough photos, you set up the camera properly, it should be pretty decent.
So for example, in this section, I would see if I have any clips of the camera. I mean, I could use stuff like this, but sometimes I have the GoPro downwards or focused on the camera itself. For this convention, I didn't actually get a badge, so I was just in the hotel and the arcade, pretty much. I'm not seeing any footage of the camera. Oh, here's the Pushing Cat DJ t-shirt on. That looks really bad. So here I messed up because I was taking a photo of someone. I didn't turn the GoPro upwards. So that's cool. Yeah, I don't know. You can also record some B-roll of the camera itself and just put it in there later. One Piece cosplayers. I think that's League of Legends. That one is a zombie game. I haven't played it, but I actually cosplayed that kind of at one point years ago. I don't know. Doesn't look like I recorded any footage of the camera itself at the convention. Nope. No, I'm only halfway through it. I guess that could count. That's kind of interesting view. I can put in there temporarily. Whoops. Nope. With the camera equipment
that I was using, the Nikon Z5 as usual with the...
Something like that. Anyways, with how expensive
camera equipment is getting.
And here I can show pricing. Let me see if I can find a good example. I don't know if there's other websites that track other stores. 5.3. Oops, what am I thinking? It's the version 2. The Z6 is the version 3. Let's see if this shows the price differentiation. Yeah. New. Oh, what is this blue line? Did it actually drop that low at one point? Oh, third party. Can I just see first party? Yeah, so with the tariffs in the United States, at least that's their reasoning, is that, for example, this is a relatively new camera. And it started at $1,700. Now it's $1,850. Like the base price. So that's cool, I guess. I could take a screenshot of this, maybe. Switch to window mode. Or get rid of that. Maybe like this. Oops. That should be good. Saving the file. There it is. Guess I can show this. You could check a few other ones as well. It's a recent Sony camera. Okay. Oh. I clicked the wrong thing. It was actually lower in price. Alright, that should be good. Whoops. How expensive camera equipment is getting. I wouldn't say the Z5. Whoops. And auto ripple on. For f2 lens.
It's a nice cost-effective combination, especially these days with how expensive.
Probably didn't need 2 frames. These days with
how expensive camera equipment is getting. I wouldn't say the Z5 is perfect. Autofocus is not amazing, but as long as you take enough photos, you set up the camera properly, it should be pretty decent.
I will say, compared to previous conventions with this combination, this time I was using a mid. Whoops. This time
I was using a minimum shutter speed of 1/160th of a second. Usually I was using 125th of a second, so that little additional minimum shutter speed does help out. I move around quickly, I take photos fast, I don't want to waste a person's time. So in that case, a higher minimum shutter speed is
I don't want to waste a person's time. Okay, so that
little additional minimum shutter speed does help out. I move around quickly, I take photos fast, I don't want to waste a person's time. So in that case, a higher minimum shutter speed is ideal. The camera does have stabilization, but when you're taking a photo of a person, it's not something that you should consider.
At the time of this
convention, I was using version 1.43 firmware on the Z5. There is a newer firmware than that, but I do think that helped out a little bit with autofocus, and I actually updated the firmware of the lens itself to 1.10. Now, in all the information on that, it doesn't say anything was improved, but I do think the newer firmware helped out this combination of equipment.
Not to say they were with the settings I'm using. So, doing hallway cosplay photography with the settings
I'm using face and eye detect autofocus and continuous, and I also have focus priority rather than release priority for that continuous focus. And as usual with cosplay photography, I tap on the screen a lot because it's not really going to do face detect amazingly well if they have a mask on or very elaborate makeup, things like that.
It's kind of a mess. This time I was using
a minimum shutter speed of 1/160th of a second. Usually I was using 125th of a second, so that little additional minimum shutter speed does help out. I move around quickly, I take photos fast, I don't want to waste a person's time. So in that case, a higher minimum shutter speed is ideal. The camera does have stabilization, but when you're taking a photo of a person,
so in that case, a
higher minimum shutter speed is ideal. With the settings, I'm using face and eye detect autofocus.
Face and eye detect. I'm using face and I'm using Yep. Shutter speed is ideal. I'm using face and eye detect autofocus
and continuous, and I also have
focus priority. Like I said, I'll be covering this with footage, so it's not super important. Detect autofocus
and continuous, and I also have focus priority rather than release priority for that continuous focus. And as usual with cosplay photography, I tap on the screen a lot.
So in this case, it'd be good if I could find a bit of footage where I'm tapping on the screen. This one probably did not. Oh, I did. Oh, nope. This one I probably did. Because they have masks on. Yeah. Continuous focus. And
as usual with cosplay photography, I tap on the screen a lot because it's...
And continuous focus.
as usual with cosplay photography, I tap on the screen a lot because it's not really going to do face detect amazingly well.
I guess the camera just saw a big thing and I didn't have to tap on the screen there. No, that one's fine. Nope. Now there's a lot of photos I did not tap on the screen here. Not even that one? Huh. Yeah, the focus box is down there for some reason, it looks like. It does have stabilization, but makeup.
The camera does have stabilization, but when you're taking a photo of a person, it's not.
All right. I'll have to see how this works when I stream editing this and then I actually upload the video to the other channel. because the live stream here will have footage and sound and everything from the eventual finished video. I mean, if it shows up in the copyright thing, it's fine. But, you know, hopefully they don't think it's like reused content in their systems. Be with a person.
At the time of this convention, I was using version 1.43 firmware on the Z.
I was using
version 1.43 firmware on the Z5. There is a newer firmware than that, but I do think that helped out a little bit with autofocus.
You have a fortune cookie. You pop this open. See what my fortune is today. Luck will visit you on the next new moon. See my preview. There we go. That's cool, I guess. I have one more, but I don't know if I'll open it on the screen. I could always buy more as well, but they're fun to try or see what your fortune is. At the time of this convention, there is a
newer firmware than that, but I do think that helped out a little bit with autofocus, and I actually updated the firmware of the lens itself to 1.10. Now, and all the information on that, it doesn't say anything was improved, but I do think the newer firmware helped out this combination of equipment.
The newer firmware helped out this combination of equipment. Not to say there were no issues. I did have a few blurry photos here and there. Doing hallway cosplay
Photography is very challenging. I would suggest considering using your own lighting, but again,
whoops. There really isn't a better term that I can think of than that. Here, doing hallway
cosplay photography is very challenging. I would suggest considering using your own lighting, but again, I do things quick, and I don't really want to flash people a lot with those lights. So it's kind of a give and take with quality of the photos, consistency of the photos, and considering more equipment, considering the downsides of each thing. I have done photography with flash in the past, but it's been a long time. Maybe eventually I'll consider it again. But if you do want more consistency, consider using your own lighting. With the hotel, the arcade, it's very, very mixed lighting.
with the hotel.
The arcade, it's very, very mixed lighting. That's the real challenge for me. White balance in post is always a long, intensive hassle to deal with, but natural light does have its benefits, and look, as long as you can get the white balance correct.
Yep. Is today Wednesday? Tuesday. Okay, never mind. That's the
real challenge for me. White balance in post is always a long, intensive hassle to deal with, but natural light does have its benefits, and look, as long as you can get the white balance correctly properly.
Whoops. There are some areas with the arcade, there's a really and in general, the upper level of the
Arcade is really cool. I like sitting in that area.
So I pretty much just walked around through. So I'm drunk. Okay. Downside of being unsure what you're trying to say at the time. Makes it very choppy. Things quick. I don't know if I should stream this on the main channel or not. I'm just doing kind of a test on this other channel just to see what it looks like with the encoding settings that I have for YouTube. So like I said, I'm using OBS, obviously, Open Broadcaster software, but I have the Atom, AITUM multi-stream plugin, and that allows you to relatively easily do multiple streams. And Twitch itself is the main one in the settings, but then you add additional ones. And the weird thing is that I had set it up to use a different encoder, but it still forced me to start the Twitch stream first, which was odd. I don't know if it's a quirk in the settings or I have something set where it's just not going to let me start up the YouTube one first. Because with YouTube streaming, you can pre-game it, basically, which can be helpful to preview the stream before it goes live. I mean, depending on your settings, because it was set automatically to public. So it did instantly go live, but yeah. With the arcade,
there's a really large skylight, and that works out well for that area, so I would tend to prefer taking photos in there in the daytime. And there's a lot of interesting stuff in the background. So I really do prefer the arcade area for taking snapshot photos, cosplayers.
Snapshot photos, cosplayers. And in general,
the upper level of the arcade is really cool. I like sitting in that area, get some cheese curds or something at the bar, and hang out. And then you have that really large opening to look down on the lower level of the arcade. It's a really nice area.
I wonder if I have any cheese curd photos. That was not from this year. It was from a previous one, I think. I don't know if I need to clip this much, but it should be fine. Cosplay or group.
For various reasons, as I mentioned with the auto
Arcade. It's a really nice
area. I try to take multiple photos of these.
I'm said a lot of the same things throughout these videos, but I do try to mix it up a little bit. pull up the YouTube channel. These videos don't tend to do amazingly well. What the heck? Just got a comment. Someone said, got this lens for $90. Oh, it was a 33 1.4. Yeah, Viltrax. I guess it could be that cheap. Looks like there might be a new camera release. Some sort going on. The Canon C50. I don't see it on here. No, there's a YouTube video. I'm surprised they wouldn't update their website. That looks expensive. No video link, or I mean website link.
Raw recording and
Yeah, this is pretty much the design a lot of cameras use now for the video stuff. I saw some Nikon rumors that people were saying they're making a video one, and it looks like the frames came from this, and clearly a different company. It's funny. Dual base ISO, 7K 60p. Oh, that's different. Yeah, this looks expensive. Okay. Here we go. $4,000, basically. Looks functional. CF Express SD. I hate when they have two different formats. Just do one format. Oh wow, that's unique looking. It's chunky. Oh, that's nice. They put the two pins for the... Well, they put a pin plus a tripod socket. That is more of a video thing, but that's good because it prevents... Assuming your tripod is set up to quick release or whatever on the tripod, sometimes they have an additional pin, and that's what this is for, so that it doesn't shift side to side accidentally. That's nice. Yeah, I'm sure this will be popular. Oh, good. .34 megapixel. IP streaming. That's pretty cool. I don't know what this is. Well, that's cool. Let's see. I could have sworn I saw a thing trying to attribute that camera to Nikon. What was there? Yeah. It's got the 3 buttons on the top. Like, what are the chances? Where's the picture of it? Like, what are the chances of that? Let's see. It is different, but I do wonder if this is some type of... Yeah, weird coincidence that they have very similar layout there. Although this camera... Oh, maybe this is real footage. This is probably a certain YouTuber. Based on the jacket. That's funny. Huh, interesting. This is so much smaller. The problem with small and video camera is overheating. So I don't know how this is gonna be. Maybe I should not have sold so much of my Nikon glass. Not that I have money to buy cameras right now anyways, but whatever. Peter McKinnon got one. He's still making videos, I guess. See how often he's posting. 5 days ago. 11 days ago. Yeah, he's posting quite a bit actually. 1 month ago. I haven't seen any of his stuff lately. I mean, obviously he has a massive following still. I try to take multiple photos
Photos of these cosplay or a group for various reasons, as I mentioned with the autofocus. Consistency isn't perfect with this combination, so I do try to take enough photos to deal with that. And I've never had an issue where I didn't have a single photo that was decent. So again, take quite a few photos.
So people could be blinking, especially with groups, things like that. And if you do take
Photos of groups, have an aperture that makes sense for that. Don't use your maximum aperture like f1.8 or something unless you have to. I do tend to just leave it sometimes, so there will be a person that's less in focus. There will be people that are visibly...
There will be a person... There could potentially be
people that are visibly out of focus in a group photo with a large aperture. I don't really mind it, but ideally you're going to step back a little bit. Also, change your...
At this convention, I guess I debris. At this convention... Jeez. At this convention...
I guess I embraced the Dutch angles a little bit. I know it's gonna...
I did embrace the Dutch... Okay. I had that in my notes. So I just voiced it. As usual, I didn't use smaller apertures as... But using a prime lens has its down... Using a prime... Jeez, man. Okay. Deal with that, and I've
never had an issue where I didn't have a single photo that was decent, so...
People could be blinking.
Especially with groups, things like that. And if you do take photos of groups, have an aperture that makes sense for that. Don't use your maximum aperture like f1.8 or something unless you have to. I do tend to just leave it sometimes.
People could be blinking, especially with groups. So
There could potentially be people that are visibly out of focus in a group photo with a large aperture. I don't really mind it, but ideally you're going to step back a little bit. Also, change your aperture to a larger number.
so it
Decreases the size of the aperture, you're going to have more depth of field.
all right. I'm gonna try to finish clipping this at the very least before I end stream here. Curious to see what the YouTube VOD will look like. I don't have a way of really previewing it while it's actually going, but so I can't get an idea for the live quality. And one of the negatives with YouTube is that it doesn't let you download any type of video on the back end in a high quality. It just gives you a 720p basic quality, which is pretty irritating. You can use probably use like a download tool to get a better version, but that's kind of weird that you'd have to be forced to do that to get a better quality version of it from YouTube. The Dutch
Angles a little bit, it's kind of a joke in the
back a little bit.
Also, change your aperture to a larger number, so it decreases.
Step back a little bit. Also, change your
aperture to a larger number, so it decreases the size of the aperture. You're going to have more depth of field. I did embrace the Dutch angles a little.
Keep saying a little bit. Angles a little bit.
It's kind of a joke in the cosplay photographer scene using Dutch angles, but sometimes it is beneficial. In the case with the large props, I want to get the whole prop in there, but I'm limited on space or something. I might adjust the camera to angle it. Yeah, it's not ideal, but sometimes it works out okay.
But wait, there's more. As usual, I didn't use smaller
apertures as I should have with group photos.
I think I already said that. In the arcade area.
I still need to manage the exposure even using aperture priority.
Need to manage
the exposure even using aperture priority. You can use exposure compensation to deal with that. Obviously, you can also use manual.
Basically, arcade machines have bright lights. So this can mess up with auto exposure on the camera. When you're trying to obviously expose for the person, mostly. So you can also use
manual mode if you want, but I prefer the simplicity of aperture priority. Again, I do things quickly, so just controlling the aperture most of the time is nice. But with the bright lights in the background of arcade machines, I do need to adjust things occasionally with that exposure. With the
arcade, I do need to. In the arcade area,
I still need to manage the exposure even using aperture priority. You can use exposure compensation to deal with that. Obviously, you can also use manual mode if you want, but I prefer the simplicity of aperture priority.
Again, I do things quickly, so just control. But with the bright light. With the arcade, I do need
to adjust things occasionally with exposure compensation and aperture priority because of the bright lights and such from arcade machines.
Sometimes I do switch off of who I'm focusing on and group. With the arcade, I do need to adjust things occasionally with exposure compensation and aperture priority because of the bright lights and such from arcade machines. And maybe that's better. In the arcade area, I still need to manage the exposure even using aperture priority.
You can use exposure compensation to deal with that.
Obviously, you can also use manual mode, but sometimes it works out okay. In aperture
Priority because of the bright lights and such from arcade machines. You can use exposure compensation to deal with that. Obviously, you can also use
with the arcade,
I do need to adjust things occasionally with exposure compensation and aperture priority because of the bright lights and such from arcade machines. You can use exposure compensation to deal with that. Obviously, you can also use manual mode.
There we go. Keep re-saying things in the voiceover. Oops. Sometimes I do switch off of who. I'm gonna have to move this. Put this maybe over here. Sometimes I do
switch off of who I'm focusing on in group photos. That way they'll be focused one or two. You could potentially combine them if you really wanted to, but still, I'll give them the option and then I'll release both of them. That way they can have a photo that's focused on them and the other one can have one as well.
Because there can be a pretty big difference
if you're relatively close to the cosplayers.
Because there can
be a pretty big difference in the sharpness.
Posing of cosplayers can be a challenge. I generally just let them do their thing. Yeah, I might have to reorder stuff. The
sharpness of each person in a group photo if you're relatively close to them.
Because there can be
a pretty big difference in the sharpness of each person in a group photo if you're relatively close to them.
Because there can be
a pretty big difference if you're relatively close to the cosplayers.
That one's probably better. All right. Change your aperture
to a larger number, so it decreases the size of the aperture. You can have more depth of field. Sometimes I do switch off of who I'm focusing.
Especially with
groups, things like that. And if you do take photos of groups, have an aperture that makes sense for that. Don't use your maximum aperture like f1.8 or something unless you have to. I do tend to just leave it sometimes, so there could potentially be people that are visibly out of focus in a group photo with a large aperture. I don't really mind it, but ideally you're going to step back a little bit. Also, change your aperture to a larger number, so it decreases the size of the aperture. You can have more depth of field. Sometimes I do switch off of who I'm focusing on in group photos. That way they'll be focused one or two. You could potentially combine.
Yeah, I think those work together. Whoops. It's kind of weird. Okay, are these not grouped anymore? I must have hit something that changed it. Who knows? One or two.
You could potentially combine them if you really wanted to, but still, I'll give them the option and then I'll.
I think before I do multi-streaming on my larger channel, I'm gonna adjust the graphics and stuff on OBS, come up with some specific for that channel. Would also like some ending stream music, but I feel like I'd probably have to make it myself somehow. In the past, I have done some little things with music, but it's been a long time. So it'd probably be a pretty time-intensive thing trying to make something decent. Although I was considering using the AI to see if it can assist me in not making the music, but going through the process of making a song with Linux Music Studio or whatever. I don't know, there's probably better options. But I do have the Linux one on here. Or Linux, however you pronounce it. I don't know. This thing. Just like click on stuff. Whoops. Yeah, there's a lot to it. Anyways. Posing of cosplayers
Can be a challenge. I generally just let them do their thing.
in the lighting. I think I'll take this one. Oops. Move that over there. Try to have some consistency. I don't think I need this anymore. Consist. Posing of cosplayers
Can be a challenge. I generally just let them do their thing. I will suggest adjustments, especially if they do some type of martial arts pose. Those tend to not work amazingly well with photos. But generally, just a little bit of instruction because I go pretty quick.
with photos. In general, it's good. At this convention, I did
write some notes for this convention, so looking back.
Okay. Talking about the overall convention scene, there will be Talking about the overall
Convention scene, there will be times where there's a little bit of unease if someone gets outed for being a creep. Things like that do happen in each area, each group of convention goers. Things happen. So I think at the time, I felt a little bit of unease from the people around sometimes. I mean, it just depends. Maybe I'm just not used to the attendees of this convention because it's been a while for me for this specific one. But, it's not a huge deal. It's just what I noticed at the time in my notes for this convention that I had written last year.
Last year. Overall, a very
Nice convention. Maybe this year I'll try to get a badge and check out the actual convention itself. We'll see. Depends on the weather. I really don't want to go there in snow, like I said.
Anyways, hope you enjoyed the
Photography of Colosscon North 2024. Scott W. Bonds, thanks.
All right. I don't know if I want to include this. I think I had more people like act a little odd to me at this convention than other ones. When I had asked for a photo or whatever. That's probably why in my notes I had mentioned something like that. Posing of cosplayers can be a so that's that thing. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that for now. I think I'm done with this for the moment. But basically I'm gonna look it over a little bit and pull frames and video from, or video and photos from the actual footage here in the pictures. And then I might go back and add a little bit of, or record some additional B-roll for the camera equipment and stuff in a different area. I have a table for hands-on recordings, so I can do that. Yeah. I'll probably mess with this thing, the programming stuff, at some point. I also have a recording that I did making this, so I would like to quickly edit that and upload it. I guess I could do that now. Let's see. Get rid of this one. Send it here. Sure. I just need to clip this up a little bit. Encoding, which I did mess around with, but I haven't tested yet. So I'm just gonna browse it a little bit, and that's it. Didn't mention the next step. The color grading. Interesting. All right. I'll do that at some other point. So I can get rid of this until I would do that, which makes no sense. It's doing. And then there's a built-in transition button. So I edit. Okay, that's not relevant. Copy this and see. This is the form load. This is the form load. It would do that, which makes no sense. It's doing things that don't exist. Got one fortune cookie today. Let's see. You will enjoy good health. It's right there. Is this vibe coding? It's like this. Or they changed something. I
Just don't, again, I don't think it has the context to function properly.
I could record a very quick. Or I could use my tool to hopefully clip this up. Not include the JSON one. Maybe I should not have included the JSON one. Include the JSON one. All right. Switch to here for a second. So what I can do is just do a little quick talk to the camera and put it in here, so people have context. Saving the project here. Guess I can show this at this point. I use a date, and then I have some type of text for each project, so it's a little bit easier to know what is what. So I'm going to try to use my script to remove silence, but it might be really bad on this audio. Or it might not even work. We'll see. Just a big boy. So while that's happening, I can switch to here and do this. Pull up OBS. See, yeah, it should be good. Do a local recording. All right. In this video, it's basically a screen recording of doing some programming. I had done a live stream with this idea, basically making a podcast application with the help of Gemini Pro 2.5 AI, but I was having some serious issues with trying to get it to properly use the APIs I wanted to use, which was whisper.net, in audio, and then I think another one. But anyways, after that, I had the idea of trying to make a program that would take that information from those NuGet packages in Visual Studio and basically output it all as a large text document. In this case, I decided to use XML. And in this video, it's basically me getting that working. That was also relatively difficult to get working with Gemini Pro, because it just doesn't have the proper context to use anything that it needed to use, but it did eventually work. So that's what this video is. Hope you enjoy it. Okay. So that did clip things. Do a secondary save of that. And then I can also pull in my recording I just did. Be in here. Put that there. Actually, I need to make sure I didn't record it with music in the background. Whoops. In this video, it's basically a screen
recording of doing some programming.
I had done a live stream with this idea, basically making a podcast application with the help of Gemini Pro 2.5 AI, but I was having some serious issues with trying to get it to properly use the APIs I wanted to use, which was whisper.net in audio, and then I think another one. All right. Is this vibe coding? Like, what the hell is this? Whoops. Actually, did I miss this thing too? No. A little bear. Okay, this is a little rough. Is this vibe?
Coding. Like, what the hell is this? Whoops. Actually, did I miss this thing too? No. These are little bear things that I got from Dollar Tree. They're not bad. It's $1.25 for a relatively large bag.
Okay, maybe that's not relevant. Things that I got
From, holy crap.
These are little bear thing. Holy crap. This is... No.
This is funny. I just don't, again, I don't think it has the context to function properly. Or they changed something. So I didn't really have any issues doing the scripting for my video editor program.
How long is this gonna... Oh, 8 minutes? That's not bad. But I include
Context of the API in my code examples. Copy paste simulator.
Just have to fix it up a little bit. Simulator.
It's consistently doing that. It's not potentially taking handle of nulls, whatever. It installed this one in here too. See what happens. That's a good sign. Let's switch it here for a second. Generated an XML file. Let's see. Bin. Wait, where should I save it? Oh, bin. Debug. Okay, there's a file in here somewhere. This is much too small. This is much too small. Let me see. Here. Where's that object?
Here. Let's see. Where's that object browser thing? Here it is. Oops. Go like this. Go like this. All right. Well, let's see what happens with this. I'm trying to make a thing that can help AI understand the thing. It's stupid and funny. Just make sure. Ale. Just gonna make sure. You can also pull up the video project. I started the ClassCon North video. Did a talking portion. I have to clip that up and then place footage. I started pull up the not relevant and then place footage. and then place footage. I saw that Vegas Pro is going to be coming out with
A new version somewhat soon. I don't know if I'm gonna buy it, but maybe. So I did change that. Can't really.
So it did change. So
I did change that. Can't really.
change that.
Can't really. I mean, with form load, I could copy the whole thing and replace it, but with the button, it's linked, so I don't want to completely change it. Oops, why is it? Did I? Okay. Must have went too far there. Alright. Nice. Does it build?
So this is coding. It's just copying, pasting. Build. Yes. Does it work? This one. Okay, exported. It's bigger. It's bigger. It's an old one. What the hell is this? I'm logged in. Browser or something. Stupid. Open with. Does it have? I'm logged in. What the hell is this? Bigger. It's all stupid. Open with. Does it have? Does it have documentation? I'm not seeing. Closer. Okay, that's a little different. Maybe I shouldn't include that one. Does this one have?
Documentation. Oops. These could be generic, like .NET framework base types function. Maybe this doesn't have documentation in it. Yeah, I guess it doesn't. I don't know, what is this? Is it a class? Whoops, I forgot which one I clicked. Let's see. It is actually working, I guess, but I want all this.
See. It is actually working, I guess, but I want. Whoops. This is going to be a really quality video, but I guess, but I want
all this stuff, even though it might be kind of generic. Can I redo? Redo? No? Did I break it? Expanding the scope. Okay. Heatsink? Really? Can you even do that? Imagine programming turns into this, where you just copy. I mean, there are tools that put it in there automatically too, so that would be easier than what I'm doing here. See if there's any errors. Nope. A ton of warnings, but hey, see what happens. Just delete the old one just in case. Yeah, it's bigger.
the old one.
Just in case. Yeah, it's bigger. Keeps getting bigger every attempt. Nope. Nice. That's what I want. Alright, cool.
Keeps getting bigger every attempt. Nope. 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 No. Attempt. Nope. Nice. That's what I want. Alright, cool. Cool. So I need this one. I need maybe in the future when I keep pulling that. Maybe in the future when I do more streams of the programming stuff, I need to read out the prompt I'm giving the AI. That way there's something to it. So I need this
one. I need the in-audio one. And probably... Shoot, I don't remember what the other thing it was using. Close that. Oops, did I pick the wrong thing? Oh no, it's just slow. In-audio, Newton Soft JSON. Alright, I have to add that to this one. Oh, that's cool, I guess. Then I run it. Here it is. Oh no, let me stop. Yeah, I'm actually writing code, gross. I don't know if that's gonna do much. I'll see. Where is it? Bro, the AI's garbage code is failing. More copy paste session. If it would flip and cooperate. Let me select it. Dude, it's broken. Whatever, I'm just gonna copy it.
This is a vibe. Broken.
Whatever, I'm just gonna copy the whole thing and then paste it into something else. Did it not finish the...
It's very possible that the quality of software is gonna degrade over the next few years, depending on if the AI gets good enough quickly enough. Just gonna copy the
whole thing and then paste it into something else. Did it not finish the code?
Did it? I'll leave that in there. Did it not finish
the code? I know it did, but For some reason, didn't copy. Jeez. Alright. Boom. Keeps expanding the build. Let's see. Okay. Oh man, it's a big file. I mean, big for text. Let me see if it even, yeah, it loaded in here. It's over a megabyte. Cool. Nice. So there's that. Now I'm curious, before I end stream here, I'm gonna try to do this other one. Just switch to my other chat. Switch here for a second. So I can add the files. I don't know if it's gonna work with those, because it...
To my switch here. Other chat. Switch here for a second. So I can add the files. I don't know. So I can add the... Switch here for a second. So I can add the files. I don't know if it's gonna work with those because it failed the other time I attempted giving it these files, but we'll see. Processing. Here for a second. Their chat processing. Oh wow, that gigantored the token amount. Holy, maybe I should not have included the JSON one. All right, try to see if this is. Oops, that's not what I want. I'm not gonna have time for this anyways. What is? Oops, that's not what I want. If this is, what is this? Yeah, this is the one. There's no way to move the flipping. Okay, so it wants to process and transfer audio method.
Transcribe. It's trying. What is this? Flipping kidding me, dude? I gave it the API and it's still doing it. Wish I could copy this text. I guess that works. It's like trying to lead a person that can't see or hear in a task that generally requires those things. Yeah, this is gonna be painful if every step in the process is like this. Man, I might run out of tokens. It's almost halfway. Actually built. Alright. Let's see. Core editing feature. Word-based editing. I guess I just paste it somewhere. Shouldn't matter too much. Where did it want to put it? And UI. Where is the properties window? Good. There we go. Oh no. Whoops. Where did I put that? I'm just gonna delete it. Okay. It's getting late. I'm gonna in-stream a few minutes here. I probably should have multi-streamed this. Oh well. Yeah, it's gonna take a while. So I'm just gonna browse it a little bit and that's it. Didn't mention the next step. Interesting. Alright. I'll do that at some other point.
That's good enough. Good luck to anyone that wants to interpret that in a video if they want to watch it. But, let me see. Tools, audio. Let's add this one. Switch, whoops. Switch to here. Load. Well, that'll improve the audio slightly. Well, I should probably do this. This might be too big of a WAV file. We'll see. Oh no, it's fine. Bro. So there's that. Then I run it. Text document. In this case, I decided to use XML. See if I can adjust the levels a little bit. It's probably as good as it's going to get. All right, let's render this. I don't expect anyone to watch this, but I wanted to put it up for the consistency of the project, because I had done the stream just on Twitch and I didn't do it on YouTube. Let's see. All right. I guess I can show the back end of this YouTube channel. There's not really much in it. So that's the stream. I'll do an upload here of this thing. Just make sure it's good enough. This here. What I could do is include the text chat for that one. That would help people understand what's going on. Although, let me see if I can just copy my prompts to it. Because otherwise it'd be gigantic and wouldn't fit in the description. I don't know if there's an easy way just to copy my prompts to it. System instructions? No. Save prompt. No, no. It's not what I wanted. I think I have to. Hmm? Is this the new form of code? It's telling the thing. Well, crap. I ran out of text here. Hmm. Whoops. Okay, it's the same thing. Huh. Well. All right. Hmm. Maybe I should put this on GitHub into... Although I think I would want to put it into a separate area of AI stuff. I might want to switch it to something besides XML because it uses a ton of tokens. So I can get a link to the original stream. Okay, you don't need this. That's probably good. Maybe I'll add a vibe coding thing. Right. This. Can I choose streams? That's probably it. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know why it says 0 for the time. Can I not link? Oh, okay. That other one was wrong then. Go back into here. I don't know what this is. There we go. Yeah, there we go. That'll probably be... I don't even know. I don't even know. It's such a bad video. But maybe someone will find it amusing. Because with it clipped up like that, no one can really get any useful information out of it. But I wanted to put it up there just for the sake of showing most of what I had done with the idea. So that the previous live stream that I did have on there has more context between that and then whatever the next step is, which would be trying to work on the actual application idea that I had, making a podcast editor that edits based on text using Gemini Pro to basically make it. I'm just copy pasting and stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna head out. I'm 8 minutes slow compared to when I wanted to stop, so yeah. Anyways, that worked out well. I'm curious to see what the quality of this stream will look like. I'm using HEVC on the YouTube side. It's 720p because the Twitch is also 720p, and Twitch has in their terms for multi-streaming, you can't have a secondary stream of a higher quality, at least resolution, than their stream. So, and on the Twitch side, I'm using the newer feature where it makes multiple encodes. So it's a 720p and a 360p on Twitch. But then the YouTube is just the 720p HEVC encoded stream. Anyways, I'm going to head out. Peace.